For nearly 8 minutes, children are heard crying for their parents as a callous border agent cracks jokes inside what is believed to be an immigration facility along the US-Mexico border. The heartbreaking audio was released Monday afternoon by ProPublica, who says the recording was of 6-year-old girl, Alison Jimena Valencia Madrid, who was separated from her mother last week at a U.S. Customs and Border Protection facility. "Well, we have an orchestra here," he's heard saying. "What's missing is a conductor." During a White House press briefing, Kirstjen Nielsen, the Secretary of Homeland Security, claimed she had not heard the audio. Scrolled down for video when she was asked whether or not she had seen the photos of the children in cages. Nielsen said, "I would reference you to our standards." DailyMail.com reached out to U.S. Customs and Border Protection, but a request for comment was not immediately returned. It's unclear what facility this audio was recorded at, and no details have been released about the border agent. The audio was released just a day after it was revealed that border agents have reportedly been telling illegal immigrant parents that they are taking their children for a bath before separating them. Anne Chandler, the director of the Houston office of Tahirih Justice Center, said she's spoken with several parents who were told their children were going to get washed before guards informed them they would never see their kids again. She made the stunning claims as heartbreaking photos were released showing have inside of a processing center in Texas, where illegal immigrant children are taken. On Friday, it was revealed that nearly 2,000 children were separated from adults at the border between mid-April and the end of May. Those children are now living in detention centers along the US-Mexico border. The officers say, "I'm going to take your child to get bathed. That's one we see again and again. Your child needs to come with me for a bath," Chandler told Texas Monthly. The child goes off, and in a half an hour, 20 minutes, the parent inquires, "Where is my 5-year-old? Where's my 7-year-old? This is a long bath." And they say, "You won't be seeing your child again." Chandler said that in some cases agents simply tell the parents that they are taking their children away. And when the parent asks, "When will we get them back?" they say, "We can't tell you that," she said. Chandler said the officers also tell the parents that they are going to prosecuted or that they aren't welcome in this country. In May, Attorney General Jeff Sessions announced a zero-tolerance policy in which all those apprehended entering the U.S. illegally, including those seeking asylum, would be criminally charged, which generally leads to children being separated from their parents. The policy has drawn condemnation from medical professionals, religious leaders and immigration activists, who warn that some children could suffer lasting psychological trauma. But nonetheless, the children are separated from their parents, held in government facilities, released to adult sponsors or placed in temporary foster care. Heartbreaking photos showed the inside of the largest Border Patrol processing station in the U.S., which is located in McAllen, Texas. The U.S. Border Patrol allowed reporters to briefly visit the facility on Sunday. One cage had 20 children inside. Scattered about are bottles of water and bags of chips. Children were seen lying on dark green mats with large foil sheets intended to serve as blankets. Other photos show children in single file line and sitting next to one another. One teenager told an advocate who visited that she was helping care for a young child she didn't know because the child's aunt was somewhere else in the facility. She said she had to show others in her cell how to change the girl's diaper. More than 1,100 people were inside the large, dark facility that's divided into separate wings for unaccompanied children, adults on their own, and mothers and fathers with children. The cages in each wing open out into common areas to use portable restrooms. The overhead lighting in the warehouse stays on around the clock. According to the Border Patrol, close to 200 people inside the facility were minors unaccompanied by a parent. Another 500 were family units, parents and children. Many adults who crossed the border without legal permission could be charged with illegal entry and placed in jail, away from their children. Share this article. Administration officials have defended the tactic as necessary to secure the border and suggested it would act as a deterrent to illegal immigration, while Trump has sought to blame Democrats, saying their support for passage of a broader immigration bill would end the separations. Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen, the head of the Department of Homeland Security, even bashed the media on Sunday for misreporting. This misreporting by members, press and advocacy groups must stop. It is irresponsible and unproductive. As I have said many times before, if you are seeking asylum for your family, there is no reason to break the law and illegally cross between ports of entry, she tweeted. We do not have a policy of separating families at the border. Period, Nielsen added. As a mother, as a Catholic, as somebody who has got a conscience, I will tell you that nobody likes this policy, White House advisor Kellyanne Conway said on NBC's Meet the Press on Sunday. You saw the president say on camera that he wants this to end. Democrats have accused Trump of effectively turning the children into political hostages to secure stricter immigration measures, such as funding for a U.S.-Mexico border wall. Stop lying to the American people. This is your policy, Democratic U.S. Representative Hakeem Jeffries said in New Jersey. Democratic Senator Jeff Merkley of Oregon, who was denied entry earlier this month to children's shelter, said those kids inside who'd have been separated from their parents are already being traumatized. It doesn't matter whether the floor is swept and the bed sheets tucked in tight, he added. In Texas's Rio Grande Valley, the busiest corridor for people trying to enter the U.S., Border Patrol officials argue that they have to crack down on migrants and separate adults from children as a deterrent to others. When you exempt a group of people from the law, that creates a draw, said Manuel Padilla, the Border Patrol's chief agent here. That creates the trends right here. Agents running the holding facility, generally known as Ursula for the name of the street at Sunset, everyone detained is given adequate food, access to showers and laundered clothes, and medical care. People are supposed to move through the facility quickly. Under U.S. law, children are required to be turned over within 3 days to shelters funded by the Department of Health and Human Services. Padilla said agents in the Rio Grande Valley have allowed families with children under the age of 5 to stay together in most cases. Democratic lawmakers joined hundreds of protesters outside an immigration detention facility in New Jersey on Sunday for a Father's Day demonstration against the Trump administration's practice of separating children from their parents. This must not be who we are as a nation, said Representative Gerald Nadler, one of 7 members of Congress from New York and New Jersey who met with 5 detainees inside the facility, including 3 who said they had young relatives removed from their care after seeking asylum at the border. The lawmakers in Elizabeth waited about 90 minutes to gain access to the detention facility, which is operated for the U.S. government by a private contractor. In South Texas on Sunday, several Democratic lawmakers, including Senator Jeff Merkley, toured detention facilities to call attention to the policy, while Representative Beto O'Rourke, who is running for the U.S. Senate in Texas, said he would march with protesters to the border. This is inhumane, O'Rourke told CNN. I'd like to say it's un-American, but it's happening right now in America. Some moderate Republicans have also called on Trump to stop the separations. Senators Susan Collins and Jeff Flake wrote to White House officials on Saturday seeking more information on the policy. It is inconsistent with our American values to separate these children from their parents, Collins said on CBS Face the Nation on Sunday. A spokeswoman for Melania Trump told CNN on Sunday that the First Lady hates to see children separated from their families and hopes lawmakers from both parties can agree on immigration reform in what was a rare public statement on a policy issue from the president's wife. Her Be Best platform, unveiled in May, is dedicated to children's well-being. Democrats in the U.S. House of Representatives will introduce legislation this week aimed at stopping separations, mirroring a similar Senate bill sponsored by Democrat Dianne Feinstein. But neither bill has much hope of securing enough support in the Republican-controlled Congress, let alone surviving Trump's veto pen.